All right, Shalom, Israel. Salaki, we was having some technical difficulties with the sound. I'm trying to get right into this and try to get right started, but I still have to do a sound check before I get started. Don't know what was going on, but I believe we got it worked out. Okay. 1 second here. Okay, I believe the sound is correct now. Good. All right, kind. Jeez, Louise. All right, Shalom, Israel. Salakia, about the technical difficulties we just had. Trying to get this thing together. All right. Once again, we are the ISUPK under Commander General Yohana. This is the ISUPK Detroit Law class. As usual, under Commander General Yohana, man, who is the true leader of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. He is the true leader of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man, and the true leader of Black people all over the world. And of course, when I say Blacks, I'm talking about all tribes. Okay, Commander General Yohana been doing this since the 60s. I mean, Salaki, since the 80s. This troop been out since the 60s, man, holding this thing down. Okay. And today, man, we're gonna touch a little bit on the most ridiculous nonsense. I don't even understand how we as a people still believe and follow into this and follow this nonsense. Okay, I don't understand how we even. I don't even understand why are we even why do we even as a people give this any thought, man? St. Patrick's Day. St. Patrick's Day. Why do we even celebrate this? Why do we even think it's okay to dress our people up in green like a leprechaun with the little hat and everything, man? The little hat and everything is what we do. We dress our people straight up for St. Patrick's Day, and then run around. And if they don't got anything green on, if they don't have anything green on, we do what? We pinch them. Or some nonsense like that. Some ridiculous nonsense like that. Some kid stuff. Some kid stuff is what we do. And we follow and we teach our kids this mess. Like, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. Just 1 second. Salaki. And like I said, we teach our kids this nonsense and things of that nature. And then we wonder why. And then we wonder why they grow up into all type of nonsense. But right before I jump into that, I want to read one quick scripture. Let's get Amos 2:1. It's like it slipped my mind for 1 second. Amos 2:1. Let's get that. Let's get Amos 3:1. Salaki, Amos 3:1. We'll get through it. Don't worry about it, y'all. Let's get Amos 3:1. Because a lot of people don't understand. When you following the leprechaun and Saint Patrick and all of that, you are literally worshiping other gods. You are literally worshiping other gods, man. Worshiping the leprechaun, that little leprechaun that y'all think ain't about nothing, is actually you actually worshiping a whole nother God. You actually worshiping a whole nother God. Okay? Let's get it. Amos chapter 3:1. And it reads, Hear this word that the Lord has spoken against you, O children of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up out of Egypt. It says, You only have I known of all the families of the earth. Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. Okay? The Lord said he only known, even though he created everybody, us, have he known of all the families of the earth. Okay? It's only us. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch a little bit on St. Patrick's Day. And just to give you a brief, I'm trying to speed it along because, our difficulties, we only had a short period of time. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. Okay? And try to get into the leprechaun part, because the leprechaun is just another worship of a Celtic god. So I'm going to try to get through all of that, which is why I read Amos. So I'm going to try to get through this as quickly as possible. All right? It says, this is from the Encyclopedia Britannica. It says, Patrick was born in Britain of a Romanized family. So the man that they call St. Patrick, right, of Ireland, he wasn't really even born in Ireland, okay? He was born in Britain of a Romanized family because what? At that time period, what was going on? The Romans everything was pretty much Romanized, as the word they used. So people were pretty much doing what? What does that mean? That means people was following the cultures of Rome and following the things about Rome and loving the things about Rome, okay? It says, at age 16, he was torn by Irish raiders from the villa of his father, Calaprunus, a deacon and a minor local official. So Of course, they was Christian at this time, and it said his father was a deacon and a local official. Reading on, it says, and carried into slavery in Ireland. So this is how he initially got into Ireland. He came into Ireland as a slave. So again, he wasn't born in Ireland. He came into Ireland as a slave. All right? Let's read on. It says, he spent 6 bleak years there as a herdsman, during which he turned with fervor to his fate, upon dreaming that the ship in which he was to escape was ready. So he was enslaved, and he slaved for a little while. I'm saying that he had a dream. He had a dream about what? A ship that was going to do what? Deliver him, okay? Get him out of slavery. It says, he fled his master and found passage to Britain. There he came to near to starvation and suffering, a second brief captivity before he was reunited with his family. There he may have paid a short visit to the continent. Okay, I'm trying to skip down a little bit for time's sake. So where we at now, just to give a brief summary of where we at now, St. Patrick's went into St. Patrick, I don't know why I keep calling him dude the saint. But Patrick, because he's Patrick at this time, he went into captivity. He escaped captivity. Now he went back to Britain, okay? It says, carefully to deal, now I'm jumping down, okay? And the part I'm jumping down, he is, if I'm not mistaken, he back in Ireland. So now he done came back to Ireland, okay? It says, carefully deal fairly with the non-Christian Irish, he nevertheless lived in constant danger of martyrdom. The innovation of such incidental of what called laborism estipo was his reply to change, and to his great grief endorsed by his Ecclesiastes superior in Britain, that he had originally sought office for the sake of office. In the point of fact, he was a most humble-minded man, pouring forth a continuous pagan of thanks to his market for having chosen him as the instrument whereby multitudes had worshipped idols and unclean things had become the people of God. So what he was doing was he was pushing, and I'm gonna have to summarize it up just for time's sake. What he was doing was he came back to Ireland, and what he started to doing, because Ireland had different gods or different idols or whatever it was. So what he did was he actually brought Christianity to Ireland, okay? And later on when you read, it said he removed all of the snakes from Ireland, meaning not literal snakes, but what he was doing was he was removing what they considered paganism and idols and things of that nature. While doing what? What was he doing? He was spreading Christianity. He was spreading Christianity and teaching people about oppressor Christ and things of that nature. That's what he was doing. Okay? This is the origin of where this comes from. Him basically spreading Christianity all through the earth. Okay? In which later on it started taking on the form of adding this and adding that, and now we have a St. Patrick's Day where we're drinking green beer and leprechauns and 4-leaf clovers and all of these things. But this is talking about the actual man, St. Patrick himself. And Salakia, man, I wish I really didn't have to try to cut this short because of the time. Because I had some stuff I wanted to actually get into. But I wanted to divide it up to this and the leprechaun side. So I'm going to try to do both. Because the leprechaun side, good night, man. If y'all If y'all don't understand about this leprechaun, this thing that our people don't realize that they worship. When you celebrate St. Patrick's Day, you are worshiping, you're worshiping this leprechaun, who is the Celtic god of the sun. So this is what we actually worship. Okay? And I'm gonna read. This is about the leprechaun. This is coming from World History Encyclopedia. Okay? It says leprechauns are figures in Irish folklore who guard hidden treasures, regarded as small and incredibly agile male fairies or goblins. They most often guard a pot of gold, living solitary lives. A leprechaun can be a source of mischief for unwary, and they are infamous for being extremely difficult to catch or trap. Now we're talking about something, and this is the thing right here. We're talking about something that's not even real. Okay, we're talking about something that's not even real, and we have to explain this to our people to not worship a leprechaun. Y'all see it on TV and then think that it's think that what? It's just something. It's fun and games, something to have fun with, something to play around with. But you don't understand. This is just not a day that you just having a good time. It's not just a day in which you're just going out to drink some green beer and you're dressing up like a leprechaun. Why do you think you're dressing up like a leprechaun? It's in honor of the leprechauns, of their Celtic god. We're going to bring it out. We're going to get to it. Okay? It says they live a solitary life, which means what? They live alone. And like Hadariala brought out yesterday. You ain't never seen no baby leprechaun. You ain't never seen a young leprechaun. They always old, and they look more like the leopard. Like you said, it's a goblin. So it's not the Lucky Charms dude on the Lucky Charm box. That's not it. Okay, it's the leprechaun the movie. That's what these things are. Leprechaun the movie. And this is just more nonsense that they have blacks, Hispanics, and Native American watching. I mean, it's like not watching, worshiping. Worshiping. Some other false god that they done hid behind all that stuff, behind some kind of way, and made it seem like a cool thing to do. When it's not. We are worshiping other gods. Okay? It says, even if they're caught, their captors must always keep them in sight, or they will not give away the location of the treasure. Which is, why would we believe, this is what I don't understand right here. Why would we believe something like that? Why would we believe that we have to catch some 3-foot tall creature and he gonna give us a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Why do we believe, why wouldn't we stop and think for 1 second and say to ourselves, now wait 1 minute here. And this is no different. This is no different than anything else that the oppressor has put out there for us to celebrate or worship one of his silly gods. Or worship one of his silly gods. And as a kid, you really think you're going to catch some dang on leprechaun. Okay? It says, even if they are caught, the captor must always keep them within sight, or they will not give away the location of their treasure. usually a crop of gold coins. It says leprechauns share many characteristics with most ancient creatures from Irish Celtics, and wilder European mythology. But since the 19th century, they have risen to a dominant position of being the most recognizable symbol of recognized symbol of Irish folklore, which means when you think about the Irish, you think about the leprechaun. Okay, that's what they're saying. But we're gonna have to jump down for time's sake. I'm trying to get this in. So with time's sake, we're gonna jump down. I'm gonna skip down a little bit, and we're gonna read this just for time's sake. It says, according to some scholars, the word leprechaun comes from the ancient Irish Celtic god and culture hero Lugh. That's L-U-G-H. Lugh was originally the god of the sun and the light, and then became a great warrior and ruler of ancient Ireland. So again, this is no different than anything else that your oppressor would have you worship, man. You just worshiping, they just finding another way to have you worshiping one of their gods. That's all it is. It's no pot of gold. It's none of that. They just fix it up to make it look like it's something. And it is nothing more than you just simply worshiping the Irish god of the sun. That's it. You just simply worshiping the Irish god of the sun. You think you worshiping, you think you just out there having a good time and dressing up and just having a party. You think it's party time when it's not party time. You are worshiping another god, and that's something that the Lord told us not to do. That's something that the Lord told us not to do. We are not to worship other gods. And every time your oppressor come with the worship of another god, it seems like we do what? We jumps right to it, man. We jumps right to it. We don't even think. We don't even stop to think for a second. What in the hell am I doing? Why am I dressing up like a leprechaun, talking about it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Why am I dressing up like a leprechaun and saying it's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow? Why am I putting this green outfit on my kids? Why am I drinking a green beer? What is the beer? Guinness. That's what everybody loves, and they put green dye in it, and people put on beads. And why am I doing all these things, man? You have no clue. You just follow whatever your oppressors say. Okay, whatever your oppressors say is cool. Okay, whatever your oppressors say is the word. That's what we should be doing. All right, it's like read a little bit more of this right here. Was origin of the god of sun and light, and then he became a great warrior, ruler of ancient Ireland. Lugh's stature literally diminished over time as Christianization of Europe gathered peace. He was eventually transformed into Lugh Cromain, meaning stooping Lugh, as he has now inhabited the underground world of Sai, where all the other gods were regulated to as the people forgot their traditions and embraced new religions. Lugh thus becomes a sort of a fairy tale craftsman, and form there became leprechaun. So they went from Lugh and just called them and changed them into leprechauns, which is what we again. All you have to what is crazy about all this nonsense that we follow inside of this kingdom? All we have to do is look it up. That's all we have to do. All we have to do is just look it up. We don't have to we don't have to we don't have to run to the library anymore and pull out 1,000 books to try to find it. You could just these are things you could just Google. You could just Google this stuff and find the truth. All right. Try to get a little bit more on here. Just a little bit. It says, leprechauns have another ancient source of inspiration, the small water spirits of Celtic mythology. So, the water spirits. So, it says, these elves or fairies known as Lurpens first appeared in Irish literature in the Ithrax-Slakia, Fergus. It says the adventure of Fergus, son of Let, which dates to the 8th century CE. A number of mischievous spirits captured the hero Fergus while he is asleep, taking away his sword and attempted to carry him over the water. Fergus wakes up when one of his toes touches the water's surface and manages to grab 3 of the spirits. And the spirits win their freedom by promising to teach Fergus their swimming skills. Another bunch of this is another bunch of nonsense, man. This sounds like nothing more than Greek mythology. And we as blacks and Hispanics, man, we go out here and we celebrate this kind of stuff, man, and we follow these gods of other nations. We don't even think to try to look into any of this stuff and see exactly what it is that we're doing. We don't even look to see what it is that we're doing. They still call it St. Patrick's Day, but they don't say nothing about St. Patrick's. They put the leprechaun everywhere. Why? Because it's all about worshiping another one of their gods. That's all it's about. It's all about worshiping another one of their gods. Okay? Let's get Jeremiah 5. Let's get Jeremiah the 5th chapter. Yeah, it's just about worshiping their gods. Okay, let's get Jeremiah 5 and 19 right quick. Just right quick. And then we jump back and I'm going to read some more of this thing. It says, and it shall come to pass when ye shall say, wherefore doeth the Lord our God all these things unto us? Like, man, when we looking at the condition of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and we saying what? We saying we in a bad way right here, man. We look at what's going on with us, we saying we in a real bad way right here. Okay? So let's say it's gonna come a time like, man, why are we under every nation? Why is every nation over us? Because you want to worship and chase 4-leaf clovers. Okay? Because that's what you want to do. But I'm going to read on. It says, then shalt thou answer them like ye have forsaken me and served strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in the land that is not yours. And that's what we do here, man. This is how you know, man. This is how you know the Bible is so true, man. This is how you know the Bible is so true, man. Because we over here serving St. Patrick's Day, a leprechaun with a pot at the end of with a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, and nobody ain't saying, you know what, that's stupid. No, I'm not about to partake in some in stupidity like that. We over here, you got grown people who on St. Patrick's Day is going to pinch somebody for not wearing green. We have adults that's about to do that. They're going to literally pinch somebody for not wearing something green. I remember when I was in the world, that happened to me, man. That literally happened to me like maybe 2, maybe 3 times in my adult life. I'm like, what in the is y'all doing? Because of course, me, I've never drunk a green beer. I always thought St. Patrick's Day was stupid. Just me personally. I've never partaken in St. Patrick's Day. But you see brothers out there, grown men, who spray paint their hair green because of St. Patrick's Day. They spray paint their hair green. For St. Patrick's Day, man. And dress up like a leprechaun, grown 6'3" men with green hair, a leprechaun hat on, and a leprechaun outfit on, man. And it shall come to pass, when ye shall say, wherefore doeth the Lord our God all these things unto us? Then shalt thou answer them, like ye have forsaken me and served strange gods in your land, so shall ye serve strangers in the land that is not yours. Verse 20, declare this in the house of Jacob, and it is published it in Judah, saying, hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding. Because that's what this is, man. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, this is foolishness that we celebrating. This is foolishness. It's not one so-called holiday that your oppressor puts in front of you that does not have foolishness behind it. Something we shouldn't follow. Something we don't need to follow. We got Easter coming up. First is St. Patrick's Day, then it's Easter. We're reading about the nonsense about St. Patrick's Day. But then from St. Patrick's Day, we go to Easter. Nobody cares nothing about what's going on with Easter, where it's coming from, why are we doing it. You just want to paint some eggs. Then from Easter to the 4th of July. To the 4th of July for what? What good was the 4th of July for us? And yet we celebrated as if it meant so much to us. Or what is the other one? Juneteenth. That's what, Juneteenth. Well, let me tell y'all something. If you don't know, the Lord knows we love to party. The Lord knows we love to party. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Lord knows we enjoy having a good time. And every single holy day that the Lord have, or a feast day, or whatever it is, man, we have a blast. We have a blast. Some of them last a week, 2 weeks, because the Lord knows we like to get it in and like to enjoy ourselves, man. He knows we like to get it in and enjoy ourselves, man. Instead, what you'd rather do is you'd rather follow your oppressor way. You'd rather follow the way the oppressor set up for you to follow. His days stress you out and have you following stupid stuff. Okay? And have you following ridiculous stuff like a rabbit laying eggs. Something you know in real life does not happen. But it's all about cartoons and got grown people following cartoons and worshiping cartoons, worshiping things that don't exist, things that cannot fix blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. These things don't help us. While the Lord Day does what? When we celebrate the Lord's holy days, it brings us together, man. It builds us brotherhood. It teaches us how to love one another and come together, man. It's so the difference between the two, man. And what's crazy is a person in the world will dress up like a leprechaun and look at you like you crazy for keeping the Passover. That's what the oppressor has done to our people. Okay? They'll look at you like there's something wrong with you. Reading on. Verse 21 again. From the top, it says, Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Meaning, we can see that we really know, like we really understand that St. Patrick's Day and leprechauns and all this is nonsense. We really understand that, but yet we still, as a people, for some reason, we gravitate to it. We gravitate to it, man. We'd rather drink green beer than serve the Lord. We care more about that. Now you got brothers week in and week out on the corners telling you who you are. You Israel, you part of the lost tribes, you in this condition because you cursed. You see that everything that they saying is true. You don't need nobody to tell you about the condition you live in outside in your neighborhoods. Like it is not the best. You don't need nobody to tell you that. You see it every day. Now you walk past a brother on the corner and he explaining to you why it's like that. Because you know it's not just for you. Again, you can go to your cousin's house. We on the east side of Detroit. You go to your cousin's house on the west side of Detroit and you see them living in the same condition that you living in. St. Patrick's Day doesn't give you the answer to any of that. So now you get to a brother on the street corner and he out there breaking the scriptures down and he out there telling you, this is why you in this condition. This is what is happening to you. This is, you know, and you see that all of it is true. You identify with everything that the brother's saying. But you just can't, you can't pass up a green beer. You can't pass up an Easter egg hunt. You can't give those things up. Those things are too much for you to give up. You see, you have eyes, but you really don't see. You have eyes but don't see, and you got ears but you ain't hearing. Okay. From there, let's get Hosea. Let's get Hosea 8 first. Let's get Hosea the 8th chapter first, man. Let's get Hosea the 8th chapter first. Like, give me 1 second. Let me get there with y'all. 8 and 13, 8 and 6. 1 second. Make sure that was right. Slack it. Israel up, slack it. Hosea 8 and 8. All right. Hosea 8 and 8, and it reads, it says, Israel is swallowed up. Now they shall be among the Gentiles as a vessel wherein is no pleasure. For a vessel within no pleasure. And that's what we are right now. If you look at the predicament that we are in right now, we are like a vessel with no pleasure, because what? No nation care about us. Every single nation seek to do what? Devour us. Devour us, man. Take advantage of us, man. In whichever way they can. Push their God on them. Every single of the so-called oppressor holidays have a different God that is getting pushed on us. By these heathen nations. It's getting pushed on us and pushed on us and pushed on us. And now we got leprechaun worship. They call it St. Patrick's Day, but you don't even really you really don't hear nothing about him. You hear about the leprechauns. That's all it's about. The worship of the Irish, like we read earlier, the worship of Irish, leprechaun, Celtic God, sun worship. It's like sun worship, man. They always got us worshiping the sun with their gods. Or got us worshiping some garbage, a tree, some stupidity. Most High told us don't worship the creature more than the creator. You're gonna worship the sun versus worshiping the one that created the sun. How backwards is that? And it's as simple as a Google. Meaning all you have to do is really care. All you have to do is really care. It's a Google. All you have to do is say, what nonsense is this? And it's everywhere. And the truth is the truth is out. It's not hidden from us as it was. It's not hidden from us like it was. The truth is out there, man. All we have to do is just be willing to do what? To go get it. To go get it, man. Okay? Salaki. Back to it. Verse 9. For they are gone up to Assyria as a wild ass alone by himself. Ephraim has hired lovers. Verse 10. Yea, though they have hired among the nations, now will I gather them, and they shall sorrow a little for the burden of the king's princes. In other words, man, in other words, man, we are like, dang, how do I want to word this? I wonder, can I say this? We are, we kind of hoeing ourselves out. I believe I can say that. To these other nations, man. And they are taking advantage, they pimping us out. Because what do? We give them all our money, every so-called holiday, whatever it is. We make them filthy rich while we suffer poorly in the ghetto. We go in debt. We go in debt to make sure. We go in debt to make sure what? That we can buy Christmas presents or whatever the holiday may be. We won't pay our bills just to go out and dress up like a leprechaun or celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving or Valentine's Day or Easter or whatever the case may be. Whatever the case may be. Let's get Hosea, the second chapter. We're going to jump to the 7th verse. Yeah, whatever it may be, man. We put a burden on ourselves to do what? To make them rich. Because we gotta have the little ruffled shirt that they wear, that I forgot what that kind of shirt they call it. So we get the shirt with the ruffle and then the green jacket and the tie. And you put that nonsense on your kids. And you teach them that to do the same garbage and nonsense you doing. And you know it put a burden on you financially. Because you ain't paid your electric bill because you won the St. Patrick's Day. Instead of teaching them, nah, man, F St. Patrick's Day. Pay your light bill. Pay your light bill. F St. Patrick's Day. Don't worry about Easter egg hunting and all that nonsense. Don't worry about that. Okay? Instead of teaching them that, you teach them, you go ahead and you worship the leprechaun, the Celtic sun god. Like we just read. It's a Celtic sun god you worshiping with this leprechaun. Hosea 2:7. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. Meaning, it's not bringing you up over them. So if you don't overtake them, then what happens? They overtake you. They overtake you, and you don't pay your rent, and you get kicked out of your house because you was trying to put Christmas presents under your tree. Because you wanted to dress your kids up like the dude on the Lucky Charm box. You thought that was more important. You thought that was more important than serving the Lord. Okay? Reading on. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I will go and return unto my first husband, who is the Most High, man. You're going to look for you're gonna seek them, and they're not gonna in your time of need. What is the Celtic sun god, the leprechaun, gonna do for you in your time of need? What is I forget the leprechaun name on the Lucky Charms box, but what is he gonna do for you? Gonna give you a four-leaf clover, a horseshoe? That's what we do now. We put our faith in horseshoes and four-leaf clovers. We don't trust the Most High no more. We don't trust the Most High no more. We've given ourselves over to everybody because we refuse to do the one thing that will actually work for us, and that is serving the Lord, keeping the law, statutes, and commandments. That's the one thing that we refuse to give a try. We would rather have Lucky Charms, leprechauns, four-leaf clovers, horseshoes. I can't even tell. I think you got a rainbow in there or something. I have no clue about that. I think all of that is a part of it, man. And those are the things we'll put our faith in, man. Instead of putting our faith in by doing right according to what the Most High wants us to do. Those are the things we should be putting our faith in. Why? Because not listening to those things and not following behind those things are the things that got us into this condition. Okay? Instead, we are taught and what's put into us to do everything that the Lord said not to do is okay to do. But we don't even stop and think to reason with ourselves and say, why am I doing this? This is foolish. It's foolish that a rabbit lay eggs. It's foolish for me to dress up like a leprechaun. Why would I want to do that? I'm not Irish. If it's an Irish thing, then why not let the Irish people be Irish? It's like this is not something that's a big deal. Salaki. Give me 1 second. I just gotta see if I have any questions. I haven't checked since I started. It's a bad dude. Bear with me 1 second, y'all. See if I got any questions, and if y'all have any questions, y'all put it right in the chat. No questions. And so why would we follow these things, man? And this is one of the biggest problems that we have in our nation, man. We always trying to follow the culture of another nation. We're always trying to follow the culture of another nation. Always trying to be a part of another nation. And that's why I said when we look for them, they're not going to be there. Okay? Think about this from this perspective. We built this country up, right? Made this country, at one point, this country was they considered it to be the greatest country on the planet. But it was built off the back of blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. Do you think we could turn to this country and get any reward for what we've done and how great we made this country? No, when we turn, they not there. They not there for us, man. We put our hope and our dreams and everything inside of this country, man. And this country does nothing but show that it actually hates us. And now what? Now it makes us, and now it has us dressing up like leprechauns. It has us dressing up like leprechauns. Black people gonna be marching in the streets at a St. Patrick's Day parade, looking ridiculous. Looking ridiculous, and this is so much part of our problem, man. We follow and we are up under too many of the other nations' gods, man. That is something that we have to figure out and we have to come out of, man. Because as long as we up under their gods, that means we are up under them. We are up under them. And it's not like that the God that they put in front of us is something so special or something so great or grand. It's stupid. St. Patrick's Day is stupid. Dressing up like a leprechaun is stupid. You a 6-foot brother and you dressing like a 3-foot leprechaun. It's stupid and it's childish. It's dumb. It is dumb. It makes absolutely no sense. Versus, you could come in here, you could come into school and we'll show you how to stand up and be a man and worship the Lord, man. We won't worship nothing childish in here under Commander General Yohana. That won't happen. That will not happen in here. You will worship something that change your life, man, and actually have something to do what? That means something to you. That has you standing for something. You working towards something. You actually working to do what? To get delivered out of the situation you in, and not just yourself, but your people. St. Patrick's Day can't help you do that. Take that mess off, man. Take that garbage off of you, man. The Lord didn't intend for you to be like that. Okay? Hosea chapter 2 and verse 6. Did I say Hosea chapter 2 and verse 6? Well, that's where we're going. Hosea chapter 2 verse 6. Salaki. That's where we're going to now. Hosea. Oh, Salaki. Chapter 7, verse 7. Salaki. And she shall follow after her lovers, but she shall not overtake them. And she shall seek them, but shall not find them. Then shall she say, I shall go and return to my first husband. For then was it better with me than now. Which is a good thing. Which is a good thing, man. And it's a bad thing at the same time. Like I think it was heavy yesterday when we was going over to Adam and Eve, and when it got broke down, like now you will know what the evil is. Not looking at it and saying it's evil, but learning what the evil is according to the punishment from what you're doing. Don't do this, don't do that. You learning about the evil according to what you're doing. Okay? Now, like they're saying here, you saying it was better for me then. Well, think about it. How didn't you know it would be better? How did we not know that? The Most High said He set us on top by for doing what? Being obedient. Being obedient. It is no way green beer should be that great to you. There's no way pork chops should be that great to you. It's just no way. We have to at some point say, hold on, wait a minute. None of these things that we doing is working, and that's what they saying here. They saying, hold on, none of this stuff. I thought this stuff was great, but I need to go back to being to where I was, listening to the law, statutes, and commandments. Party time is over. You ever been in a relationship with a woman and she leave you? We see it all the time on the internet nowadays. And she leave you thinking she about to go over here with so and such and such, and it's about to be a great time. Now, it was great with so and such and such when y'all wasn't in a relationship, and he'll pull up on you for a couple of hours and then y'all will kick it. But now that he got to deal with you every day, brother, like, oh man, heck no. You don't get the heck away from me. Now you ready to go back with the brother who you was dealing with every day. And he putting up with your attitude and your all this and all that. Or you sisters, you putting up with the brother sitting there playing video games all day and all that kind of stuff, man. Now you ready to go back where you was at, because she ain't about to let you play video games all day. You ain't playing 2K all day over here. That ain't about to happen. She want to watch her dang on reality shows and all that nonsense. Verse 8. For she did not know I gave her corn and wine and oil and multiplied her silver and gold, which they prepared for Baal. So the Lord was, in other words, the Lord was giving us everything that we needed. Everything that we needed, the Lord was providing for us, man. We had no need for anything. He had no need for anything. But for some reason, we looked over to the leprechaun and said, man, that looked cool dressing up like him. Let me do that. For some reason, we looked over to the Easter bunny and said, a rabbit is laying eggs, and we was blown away by that. We ain't look at a rabbit laying eggs and say, this is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's not what we did. We looked at it and thought it was amazing. And see how they color the eggs with the paintbrush? My goodness. Verse 9. Therefore, I will return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers, and none shall deliver her out of my hand. And that's where we at now, man. This is lewdness what we doing. We celebrating Christmas and Thanksgiving and St. Patrick's Day and Veterans Day and President's Day. And it is no value to us whatsoever, man. It means nothing to us. It helps us in no kind of way. Tell me one thing that the so-called oppressor does, one of his holidays that actually helps blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You can't give it to me because there is none. There is none. There's not one that brings us together in brotherhood. It's not one that brings us together and teach us Salakia. This is the time for y'all to come together and y'all love one another. It's not one. You don't have one. Salakia. He doesn't have one. Salakia. He doesn't have one. Not for us. But who does? The Lord definitely does, man. Every single one of them. It's not one holy day or feast day that is not set for us to do what? Come together in brotherhood, in unity. You marching up and down the street in a leprechaun outfit is not bringing black people together. It's just not doing it. It ain't cutting. It ain't cutting. Where we at? Give me 1 second. Verse 11. It says, I will also cause all her milk to cease, her feast days, her new moons, and her Sabbath, and all her Solomon feasts, which is what we did, man. We traded away all the Lord gave us, man. For days like what's coming up on the 17th, St. Patrick's Day, Leprechaun. What we just had, the Feast of Purim. We traded that away for Leprechaun. We said we ain't gonna celebrate the Feast of Purim, but we gonna celebrate St. Patrick's Day. We traded away. We'd rather celebrate Easter than the Passover. We ain't gonna celebrate Easter. We ain't gonna celebrate the Passover, but we gonna celebrate Easter. You ain't gonna give all you gotta do whatever it takes to make it to the Lord's Passover, but you gonna give and do whatever it takes to celebrate Easter. I bet you ain't gonna miss that. But when it comes to the Lord, man, we just refuse. We refuse to do what it takes and make the sacrifices that is necessary for Him. You won't sacrifice like that for the Lord. You won't sacrifice like that for the Lord, because if you did, and if we did as a people, it would actually create real change. You want real change, you have to serve the Lord, man. Celebrate no St. Patrick's Day. Not if you want real change. If you want real change, follow the law. If you want real change, we'll see you at the Passover, man. Come near and get that brotherhood, man. And see that brotherly love, man. And see that unity, man, under Commander General Yohana, man. You ain't gonna see that marching in some Patrick Day parade. You ain't gonna see that there. because that's not for you, man. Let these other nations have their gods, man. Let them enjoy them. Let them celebrate with them. Let them do whatever it is that they want to do with their God. Let them enjoy their God. You, Black, Hispanic, and Native American men, you have to come and start serving your God. You wonder why you in the condition that you in? It's because you're not serving your God. You're not serving your God. You serving the God of the Celtic God of the sun. You about to serve the God of fertility. You serving every God. You serving this God over here. You serving that God over there. This God up there. That God back there. You so busy serving everybody else, God, you're not even realizing, you're not even stopping for it. And again, it's all goofiness. It's all stupid. Like, it's not one, if you just stop for 15 seconds, you don't even need 15 minutes. If you just stop for 15 seconds and look at what you're doing, pay attention and focus up and look at what you're doing, you would say, hold on, wait a minute. You would stop. Nobody would have to tell you anything. You would stop and you would actually see the problem with what you're doing. Instead, you're so caught up into everything. You ain't even, it's to a point where you're not even thinking for yourself. You're just moving. You're just moving. No thought behind it. You just program and you just keep going and you just keep moving because you're programmed. You don't stop for 1 second to think. You don't stop for a half a second to just take a thought and say, well, maybe it's not, maybe I shouldn't dress up like a leprechaun. Maybe I look stupid with this, with these eggs that I'm sitting here painting for absolutely no reason. We just gonna peel the egg off and eat it. What the hell you painting for? Just boil it and eat the goddamn thing. That's what you're gonna do anyway. But you gotta paint it and then hide it and then, come on, man. Let's stop this. Let's stop this. Then you gotta get an Easter basket. Let's stop, man. Then you got some black people who want to dress up like the doggone rabbit. Stop for a second and take a look at the things that you are doing. Stop moving like you just programmed to move. Stop and think for yourself and realize how stupid what you're doing is. How ridiculous what you're doing is. And then you can start getting, and then and guess what you will start doing? You'll start removing that stupid stuff. Like, man, I'm not doing this stupid nonsense no more. And now then when you walk past one of them brothers on the corner, because you'll start wanting to know what? The truth. You'll start putting away the lies and you'll start wanting to know the truth, man. And with that, shalom, Israel.